Then we get the email saying, you've been selected and you won the contract. For context, this is a $500,000 project and we had no employees or warehouse to execute this project with. So
guys,
more money to buy the products.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
So
you're giving me like heart palpitations.
Yeah.
Here, like.
Welcome to Season 2 of Behind the Business. I'm your host, Faheem Savja. Every episode, we go beyond the business plans and discover the real life and untold stories of today's entrepreneurs. It's time for the people behind the business. Let's get into it. Hey there, just a quick note before we dive in. Alongside Behind the Business, I run a small consulting practice called Savja Advisory. We work with fintechs, founders, and financial institutions. Whether it's product strategy, partnerships, or business transitions, we're in the business of helping small businesses and those who serve them succeed. If that's you, check us out at savjaholdings.com/advisory. All right, back to your episode. Guys, thank you so much for being on Behind the Business.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to do this because I've got some crappy gifts in the past. And I think my old employers thought, a water bottle, what a wonderful gift idea. Or maybe like
a lanyard.
A lanyard. Amazing, right?
A mouse pad.
A mouse pad. So thank you guys for starting Gift Better Co. Why don't we start with what Gift Better Co. is, and then how you guys met and how you guys started it. So what is Gift Better Co.? Let's start off there.
So Gift Better Co. is a high volume custom corporate gifting company.
Awesome.
So essentially, if you think of companies trying to send gifts to employees or to clients or to prospects, we make those gifts a lot better and a lot more meaningful.
Nice. That's
so
awesome.
Every gift that we give gives back to a cause.
Nice.
So the recipient, when they open the box, will have a card that says this gift planted a tree, donated a meal to the food bank,
Nice.
Donated towards a life-saving conversation through Youth Services Bureau. So the clients that we work with choose a charity that aligns with their corporate social responsibility objectives and the message that they want to communicate to the person that's receiving the gift.
Right.
So that the purpose of the gift is to tell a story when they give that gift.
Right.
So in addition to the give back component, every gift, like I said, tells a story. So that might be values driven. It might be they simply want it to be aesthetic. It might be showing that they support Canadian-owned businesses,
right?
Showing that they support women-owned businesses. So we're able to curate every single gift completely differently, depending on what that story is that our clients want to share.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool. Super exciting. I think it's like a great concept, but it wasn't always just corporate gifts, right? You guys had a process to figure out what you guys wanted to start together. Tell me a bit about that.
Oh, yeah. Olivia and I have known each other for quite a long time. Is it 13 years?
Yeah.
Ooh,
We've
nice.
known each other for 13 years. At around year 8, or I guess year 7, Olivia texted me out of the blue asking if I had ever thought about starting a business and if I'd be interested in starting one.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I have always, well, we kind of both knew that we had always been interested in that.
Right.
So I said, yeah, sure, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Then we started meeting every single week to talk about business problems. So, and when I say business problems, I mean potential businesses, but really just any problem that we faced or any minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
And we would talk about how we could monetize it. Could we build a business model around it and try to figure that out? So we met weekly for about a year before we landed on the concept.
It's so cool. And this is outside of work, after hours, weekends,
evenings.
evenings.
So I was still with my last company. I was operations manager for a high volume staffing firm.
Yeah.
So Vanessa was a marketing manager at a tech startup.
Yeah.
So this was outside of work. We would meet in Vanessa's kitchen or at Tim Hortons. And honestly, went down a lot of very different rabbit holes for business ideas that thankfully we didn't actually land on.
Thankfully.
Yeah. One of them was like a travel lifestyle brand. And then the pandemic ended up hitting.
Perfect timing.
That wouldn't have landed very well.
Yeah.
Another one was skincare or hair care with using acai. And we actually sourced it from the Amazon. We had people in the Amazon sending us samples of this. Then for
Tell
some
me you
reason,
tried it.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
That was the flashback I just had was the rash that I got.
Oh no.
Oh, no. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And we were
Okay,
like,
well.
yeah, I understand why L'Oreal and these brands have labs and
Yeah.
like lawyers, because we can't just randomly make something in our kitchen and
Yeah.
decide to sell it.
Yeah.
We were
sure.
convinced though that acai was going to be the next, like,
Because we're like, it's a super
flashy
food and
ingredient.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
I just actually really liked acai bowls.
Bulls, yeah.
That's where it came
Me too. Yeah. Okay. Got
Yep.
it.
What else did we have? There's an agency.
We were going to do like
Oh.
YouTuber starter kits.
Yes.
So
Ooh,
essentially like shipping all of the equipment needed to start a YouTube channel.
very cool.
So lighting, camera, whatever.
Honestly,
and then,
that might have done well.
yeah. And then pairing it with like starter courses, remember?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then
There's a
YouTube
lot.
came out with like YouTube Academy or something.
Yeah.
Thankfully we did not start that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch.
It's awesome. And then how did you land on like corporate gifting?
I was honestly ready to quit my job.
Yeah.
And that was the business that we were talking about at the time that I
Yeah.
hit my breaking point. Called Vanessa crying. I was like, I think we got to just do this one. Like
Yeah.
I have to go all in.
Yeah.
I was very, very burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
Very grateful for the job that I had. And
course.
I learned I learned more about entrepreneurship, honestly, working there, which is very rare for such a big company that I worked for.
Yeah.
But I had really great leaders and really great people that I learned from.
Yeah.
But I was ready to go. Vanessa was marketing manager. She was in charge of corporate gifting. And it is no one's actual job in a company. So whoever is tasked with it means that they can't actually do what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's very time consuming, a ton of headaches.
Yeah. And
So-
not personalized. Like so not
Very
meant to be like
random.
to impress people.
Yes.
So that was my biggest challenge in my job at the time was that I was given a list of names
Yeah.
and a budget for every name and told to get them something impressive, which I did not know what that meant at the time.
Yeah.
I was 26 or maybe 25.
Sure.
And I was sending gifts to these executives across North America. And I was like, I don't know what is impressive to this
Right.
CMO in Silicon Valley or whoever.
Sure.
So that was a big challenge. But I was seeing the budgets allocated to each person. And I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Here.
And
Seriously.
the person who had given me that budget didn't really care what it was as long as it was impressive.
Right.
So I was like, okay,
There's something.
there's some room here for us to
Nice.
get it. And
And
that's how we
it
started.
came up because we were trying to send a birthday gift to our friend in LA, and she's a YouTuber,
Yeah.
has everything that she needs.
Sure.
So we were like looking for cool gifts to send that weren't the typical cellophane basket of dried fruit and
Sure.
chocolate and stuff
Or
like
just
that.
like alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's kind of how the conversation came to be. Then Vanessa
Yeah.
started talking about her challenges in corporate gifting. We said, if we combine the give back component, will that gift then be more memorable
Mhm.
because people feel a connection to the brand that's a little bit more human,
Right.
and they understand what a brand stands for.
Right.
And when we started looking into like, who is the next generation that's coming into the workforce? What do they care about?
Mhm.
And we started finding that with the next generation coming in, they want to put their money into brands that are telling people, this is what we care about. This is what we stand for.
Yeah.
And that's really what we wanted to allow people to do, is use corporate gifting as another way to let brands tell a story
Yeah.
about what they stand for. When we first started it, we're like, hey, this give back component is going to be everything. Like that is our differentiator. Like that is what we are standing on.
For sure.
And when we launched it and got into understanding corporate gifting and started talking to more clients and doing interviews and actually started working with our clients, we realized that it's a nice to have and it's a cherry on top. But
Right.
there were so many more needs in the corporate gifting space that weren't being met,
Right.
that it's almost like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs that was at the top.
Yeah.
And none of the bottom pieces were
We're
met
taking care of it all.
by our competitors. So people it was a huge headache and a time suck, and they had to manage a ton of different transactions. They didn't know where
For
their
sure.
gifts were that they were sending to people all over the world. They couldn't keep track of them.
Yeah.
And the gifts were just money being wasted because the gifts were actually not memorable. So that's where we said, okay, let's have that cherry on top as the nice to have, but how do we actually plan to eventually use technology to fix all of the need to haves so that we're able to use that as the reason that people work with us?
Yeah, for sure. And I think you guys do a really good job. I've like honestly checked out your socials, and you do a great job of talking to people about your story. And I think when people resonate with your story, they're also more inclined to be like, I think the story that Gift Better Co. is going to tell to my prospects, to my clients, is going to resonate more too, right? But what I really like about your story is that you're so honest, right? Like, are you laughing? Because I'm like, I think you know where I'm going to go. And the story about being a small business owner today, about being, a spouse, a mother, balancing everything. I love the way you guys demonstrate that online. Tell me a bit about like why you chose to show that side of the business and versus just like, here's what we are, here's what we do, come work with us.
Olivia and I thought it was really important to put ourselves forward.
Yeah.
Because we found that whenever we would go to conferences, when we would meet with potential customers,
For sure.
people would get bought in on our story and our dynamic. Like we've heard that so many times. Like, oh, I love your dynamic. Because people just see us as like
a duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew that putting that out there would be valuable to us. And also a good exercise in the practice of putting a person to the brand, which is ultimately what we're trying to help our customers do. And then all of the honesty and vulnerability about all these different aspects of our identity is just something that we couldn't avoid putting out there. Like all of those things play into who we are as entrepreneurs and who we are as people.
For sure.
And so it just felt honestly the easiest to not bother trying to pretend that stuff doesn't matter and just putting that all forward.
Yeah. That's a big reason why I wanted to start this podcast, because I think that a lot of people have worked in corporate and have not had the chance to be able to get their identity, their true identity out there. And when someone, especially new business owners, small business owners, are able to do that in an honest and open way, it's so much more refreshing. It's like, oh man, like I'm just like them. I know I've done this before. I've had the same feelings and I can do it too. Right.
Yeah.
And as much as we're targeting B2B, we sell into enterprise, we realize that people are still making those decisions.
100%.
So if a person that's working at Salesforce or Shopify connects with us and connects with our story and gets behind our mission, they're the ones that are spending the money anyways. So why be a boring brand that you can't identify with when a person is the one that we're trying to?
I was really lucky to have come up in the startup space.
Yeah.
So all of my managers, even CEOs, the founders that I worked for were always like across the desk from me. And I could see them having calls with their wives, racing off to soccer practice, trying to hold everything together while running these companies and like figuring out problems in real time and swearing at emails that came in or whatever. And I thought that was amazing because for me, seeing that entrepreneurship was difficult, but accessible because this real person who's having a horrible day is still doing it.
Yeah.
And also like that person is not a super genius, like he's just a regular person. Was so valuable to me and gave me so much confidence in starting my own business.
Yeah.
So I love the idea that we can bring people in on what we're doing every day so that they can at least see what happens-ish in a startup and like see some element of that without having to work in a startup necessarily.
For sure. Yeah. And that's why I loved it so much. And I was like, man, like I know your warehouse because I see you guys rolling in merchandise and picking up boxes. And like, it's just so great that you can share your story. I find that often, even with this, I'm like, man, I gotta post so that people feel like they're a part of it. Right. And that I think is important. I really also want to congratulate you guys because seeing the brand grow to get some of the types of clients you guys have gotten is so impressive. Like, how did you get your first client? And then how did you get, right now, probably you mentioned you have Shopify and Amazon. How did you get those clients?
When we started our business, it was December 2019. We said, or end of October 2019. We said we need to launch our Shopify store for Christmas. Like we were like, we need to get this up ASAP. And if we can sell a few gifts and someone will give us money. That's our validation.
Yeah.
That we need to keep going.
We first had to get the gifts. Like we had no idea what we were doing.
No ideas.
Like
of gifts.
October or
October is just
November.
when we decided to go ahead with
We
the
had a
business.
name.
I think I quit my job, and we were like, okay.
I guess we're doing this.
And then we were like, hey, by Christmas, that's when the gifts need to be sold by.
Yeah.
So we had a tight deadline. I think we sold like honestly $2,400.
Yeah. And we were like, oh,
Something?
We're like, we're rich.
there is no stopping us.
Yeah. Like, okay.
That's amazing. I love it.
$1 billion business on the way.
Yeah.
So then we said, okay, this was really a B2C-ish, B2B-ish offering.
Mhm.
No clarity. So we said, okay, now we need to go B2B directly
Sure.
and create our product line of gifts that we want to sell. And we gave ourselves the deadline of like actually launching our business by March.
Yeah.
Come March
2020.
of 2020. So come March, the same week that we were about to press publish,
Something big happened, I think, right?
yeah. Lockdown. So we said, now it feels insensitive to tell people to buy gifts when they don't even know if they have a job.
Yeah.
They're laying people off. Like, what are we going to do?
Right.
So we put a pause on things, started interviewing as many people as we could. So I just started reaching out to hundreds of people on LinkedIn, adding them, asking them if I could talk to them. And
Was this your outreach, like to see if they could be interested in?
just to ask them questions about what challenges that they have so that we can figure out where do we fit in the market and where is there going to be a gap if this COVID thing doesn't go away quickly.
Yeah.
So we realized with financial advisors, they have money that they spend on client touch points. If they go to a traditional gifting company, all those gifts are $100 plus.
Mhm.
To be able to actually mass send something out to their client list when there's a pandemic and they want to be being mindful of budget, how do they actually send something meaningful,
Yeah,
send something branded while also staying within budget?
for sure.
So that's where we first started with making a very terrible first gift.
Oh, you got to
I
tell me
hate
what
it.
it is now.
Why was it in a cellophane bag? I'll throw up
That's crazy because we roast cellophane all the time.
all the time.
Oh,
But
no.
their budget was something that we do not work with $25 budget
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
for this reason.
Okay.
Because
We
if
wanted
you give me a $25 budget, you will get cellophane.
Cellophane.
So we don't do
Okay.
that anymore.
Got it.
That's kind of the area that we started in.
Yeah.
Then we moved into work from home. So then we realized, okay, what other industries are going to be impacted from COVID?
Yeah.
We
Got it.
said employees that were working in person. The company had budgets to spend for employee engagement,
Mhm.
and now they need to try and keep people engaged over Zoom meetings.
Mhm.
So Shopify is a great example of that. We
Especially considering where we
are in Ottawa.
Yeah.
We know what their offices look like and all the perks of having a chef and this and that and a slide and blah, blah, blah. So we said, how do we, honestly, I don't even think we actually sold into them. We were part of an accelerator program with the University of Ottawa. So we were on a big group call. There was someone in one of the breakout sessions that worked at Shopify or had a friend that worked at Shopify, said, let me spread the word. That person put our company in an administrative professionals kind of Slack channel that's internal to Shopify.
Whoa.
And we got customers from there. And then
Unreal.
we obviously still work with Shopify now, but that's honestly still how people find us because they'll just do keyword searches in this channel. And now more and more people have used us. So that was how we got our, I would say, first like big name.
Right.
And with Shopify, we ended up closing the deal with them because we sourced gifts from all Shopify merchants. So
Amazing.
we were able to tell the story of them supporting the community that they're fostering.
For sure.
And that was huge for them.
Yeah, that's so incredible because I know like it's so nice to come back to Ottawa, first of all. Like it's so nice to be here again because, you know, I remember the days when Shopify made waves in Ottawa, right? And for then it to just blow up. And then for that name to be attached to your brand as you guys are growing is a really big deal. Not only does it say, okay, there's some real credibility here, but it just demonstrates the story, right? That this Ottawa brand is here to stay and it's here to grow, just like Shopify, right? So it's so cool. And now things are like really blowing up, right? 4,600 square foot warehouse, like for all of your corporate gifting needs. Like, wow.
That came out of necessity.
Yeah.
That's probably another good story.
Yeah.
Go for
How
it.
we got our biggest client ever.
Okay.
Which was the University of Ottawa.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Go for it.
So
I'll chime in.
we got an email one day from someone that worked at their team and said, hey, just an FYI, there's a RFP that was just released looking for gifts for a convocation. The graduation was at home and virtual because of COVID.
Got it. Okay.
So we knew it was a one and done, but it was for almost 10,000 gifts. There was 9,600.
This was in January of 2021.
Got it.
So we were new. We had 0 employees. We had a shelf in my now husband's warehouse.
Okay.
And the rest was in my living room.
Yeah. And the shelf, like, I felt so bad every time we put something on.
Yeah. She's like, this is not our space.
Did Sean say it's okay for us to be here? Because I feel like we're really intruding on his space. And I don't want him to think. Yes, because I felt so bad for taking up space in his warehouse.
I just have like a piece of painter's tape on the shelf. That was his shelf. We didn't even buy the shelf.
No.
And it was like,
Gift better go.
Yeah. And then
Oh
we
my God.
and then we took 2 shelves and then 3 shelves.
Yeah.
Now we have
The whole warehouse.
3/4 of the
Yeah.
warehouse.
Got it. Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But what happened was we looked at this RFP. It's like 40 pages.
Right.
We were like, we don't even have employees.
Mhm.
We don't have anywhere to pack gifts. The biggest project we've done to date is max 200.
I think that's being generous.
Yeah. And we said, let's just do it for the experience and to learn how to write an RFP.
Because the RFP was for 9,600 gifts.
So a big difference.
Wow. Yeah.
So we did it for the experience, wrote the RFP, keep in mind. So Vanessa took on writing it. I took on sourcing
Sure.
and trying to figure out how we were going to do this.
Right.
The criteria for the RFP was that they needed it to be items sourced from alumni-owned businesses. So typically those are small businesses.
Yeah.
The small business needs to be able to make 9,600 of that item fairly quickly. And it's a global pandemic. The shipping containers are stuck at sea. There's a shortage of cardboard and wood globally. And you can't really get raw materials
Yeah.
or anything.
So easy, guys. Obviously.
Simple. And they wanted it to be
Reflect.
commemorative and tell a story and
Oh my
reflect
God.
the convocation experience that they would have had in person.
Right.
We should say, though, that those criteria were like bonus points if.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we had nothing to go on. So we're like, let's really lean into the bonus stuff.
For sure. For sure. For sure.
Because one thing we can do is tell a story.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
So we started writing this RFP.
Yeah.
We interviewed people that were graduating to survey what were they missing,
Oh my God.
what
love
did
it.
they care about, and we included all these stats in the RFP
Yeah.
to tell the story about how we chose the items that we chose.
Yeah.
We had vendors that were saying yes, then backing out because they couldn't actually get wood to fulfill
Produce.
this
Yeah.
order or anything.
Oh my
It was
God.
crazy. So it kept going back and forth, and we had to actually have a physical sample if we made it to the final round
Oh, man.
and submit this physical sample.
Okay.
I just remembered everything that happened with that sample. We almost drove to Philadelphia at one point.
Yes.
Stop.
So what happened was we surveyed everyone, proposed this gift, and within this proposed gift, we said, okay, we have this custom Instagram filter because that social element and sharing the experience with others was something that people were missing.
Right.
So when they scan this plantable QR code, it had this U Ottawa convocation filter,
Cool.
and the plantable card grew wildflowers so that they could always remember their convocation experience. And they
Whoa.
had an etched wood block that had the U Ottawa campus etched on it so that it was like a pen and pencil holder
Mhm.
so that they could remember their campus experience and all this other stuff, a little graduation tassel.
I don't remember my convocation gift being this nice.
No, I think we got a pen. We got
like a pen. Yeah, like congrats.
It was a heavy pen.
Yeah. But it wasn't an etched description of campus and a diagram and a plantable QR code. Guys, holy, you better have won this thing. Like,
so we just kept saying like it's for the experience. Then they'd respond and say, okay, you made it to the next round, and we're like, oh God. So
we're gonna have to execute on this, maybe.
Yeah, but we still didn't think that we were gonna make it all the way.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were tricking them a little bit, which I can say now because it went well.
Okay.
And they still work with us, but like, I don't think that they maybe knew that we didn't have a warehouse at the time.
Right.
So we end up getting this sample. The sample is stuck. It's stuck in Philadelphia. We're going to drive, like, it was this big whole chaotic thing.
Sure.
We get the sample submitted, I think like within hours or minutes of this deadline, because you had to submit it in person.
Okay.
Then we get the email saying, you've been selected and you won the contract. For context, this is a $500,000 project and we had no employees or warehouse to execute this project with. So,
guys,
more money to buy the products.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
you're giving me like heart palpitations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So we start looking for a warehouse.
Yeah.
We end up looking at a ton of them. We find one in the same location where my husband's is, but it's on a different floor.
Got it.
And it's a much bigger space.
Cool.
A lot was going to need to be done to the space because it didn't have heating or lighting or something.
And it had an asbestos problem.
Oh, no.
So, but we were fine with
can I ask?
You don't disturb the asbestos.
It's okay. How long did you have to execute on the contract?
So that was what was challenging is, say the process wrapped up at the beginning of March was when the final round were happening.
Sure.
They let us know kind of at some point in the middle of March, let's say. And we had to deliver by, I think the first batch had to be delivered by June. But
wow,
we didn't have a contract until April?
Oh my God.
Late April, because the procurement process and the contract negotiations took so long.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. So we
couldn't start anything
Olivia
until
just kept saying like,
contract.
do we have it yet? Like,
we
don't know.
We never celebrated.
As if to say like, okay, so when this, we're like, when?
Yeah.
We don't know if yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So we started looking for warehouses, found this warehouse. We signed the contract, sent it to them. They said, okay, you get your keys on Friday. What we didn't realize is they didn't sign the contract and send it back to us. So on Friday, we get a call from someone we were working with. They said they've actually changed their mind. They don't want to rent the space anymore. Keep in mind, we ordered everything to this address.
Oh, no.
And it was arriving on Wednesday. This is Friday. It's arriving on Wednesday. How many skids do you think were going to be arriving?
I will never forget the number 19 of that was just the boxes that everything had to go in with 19 skids.
Oh my God.
And that was just the boxes. There were like 6 different items in the boxes. So all of those had all their own skids. So we said, where are we going to tell people to bring these, let alone it's too late to redirect them?
Yeah.
So I hang up the phone and I call Vanessa. Obviously, I'm stressed.
Of course.
I was like, what are we doing? My stomach starts hurting. I was like, okay, clearly I'm stressed. I'm just going to go for a walk. I start going for a walk. I can barely make it around the block at this point. And at this point, I honestly stopped getting stressed about the warehouse because I was in such severe pain. I was like, I don't think this is stress anymore.
Yeah.
I go to the hospital and they said, your appendix burst.
No.
You need emergency surgery.
What?
Meanwhile, I'm on the phone like, Olivia, you're just stressed. Calm down. It'll be fine. Just lay down. Just breathe.
Guys, there's 3 days.
I know.
Okay.
I'm in the hospital. I'm like, this is great. It's not my problem. Not really. It was still my problem. But thankfully, my husband had to step in and Vanessa. So Sean and Vanessa start looking for warehouses. I'm in the hospital recovering.
Then warehouses is generous. We were looking at like, can we rent this space to use as an office and then fill the parking lot with containers where we can put stuff and then also set up tables so that people can assemble stuff in these shipping containers. People are like, it's a little hot for that.
Yeah.
One of them was like, can we
regulate those?
cut a wall? Can we cut a hole in the wall to be able to get the skids? Because we were looking at office spaces, but they didn't have garage doors to get these skids into the warehouse.
How soon can you install a garage in here?
What?
It was crazy. So by the end of them looking, there was no solution. We had no space.
Okay.
So Sean was a YouTuber that was making unboxing video content.
Yeah.
So this warehouse that we are in now
Yeah.
is 4,500 square feet. All of it was full with random things. I can't even explain, like military vest,
Oh my
Uh,
God.
like camo suit,
The shed.
remote control cars, a house, like a house that he ordered from Alibaba and built in the warehouse. Like it was full. That's why we didn't even consider it as an option, because we're like, there's no way we can empty
Yeah.
this warehouse.
Yeah.
We just have our shelf.
Yeah. This is where the
With the
shelf.
sticky note.
Yeah, with the painter's tape. So Sean's like, "Okay, guys, I think you just need to use my warehouse."
Yeah.
But at this point, we're like, even if we empty things out, we can't fit the amount of skids
Yeah.
that we need to fit in here.
Right.
What felt like the community of people we didn't know came together of like, I know a person that works in warehouse management. I know a person came together, was like, you need to install warehouse racking. You need to buy a pallet stacker. So
Yeah.
that we can start using the height of the warehouse instead of just the space of the warehouse.
Right.
Anyways, we had to do things that we weren't supposed to do to get these things into the warehouse.
Yeah.
For legal reasons, I won't explain
Yeah.
that it was. Got it in, got it installed, honestly, all of my best friend's cousins, hired all of them as the gift packers,
Siblings.
Oh
siblings,
my God.
all of our family and friends, packed this project, got it out the door, and AutoU knew none of it. They were happy with the order.
Until this podcast.
I told them.
Okay. Okay,
Every
good.
time I speak at AutoU, I'm like, I can tell this story now.
Oh my
But
God.
Everything went super well. She's a glowing reference. Like,
Amazing.
yeah. And that order allowed us to hire our first 2 employees,
Unreal.
allowed us to learn real time how to really execute on high volume operations, how to create operational efficiencies within our warehouse.
Yeah.
And the scale to which we could do.
Execute on something.
Yeah.
And the scale at which we could tell enterprise clients, hey, we're capable of this.
Right. Yeah. Here's an example.
Here's the
Yeah.
credibility.
Yeah.
Here's a case study. We've shipped to 70 countries. Figure out
Unreal.
how to ship internationally to all these countries. Like we learned so much from AutoU taking that chance on us.
Mhm.
And that was probably that like one moment in a business that people talk about that changed
everything.
Yeah.
the course of how we were going to grow.
Do you think that I talk about imposter syndrome a lot? I think because it's just something that people go through when they're going through entrepreneurship for the first time. Like I feel it very often. I'm sure the people who have been on this podcast have felt it and in general. But did you feel that at that moment, once you executed on this contract, that you were like, all right, we got this, like we can do this at a larger scale?
I think more than imposter syndrome, we felt a little bit more of a need to feel credible when speaking with people because of the industry that we're in and because we're women. And not that there's anything wrong with gifting companies on Etsy. It's just not what we're doing.
Sure.
We're doing enterprise gifting at scale, and we have a CTO now, and we're building technology.
Right.
We're a real company.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit more what we felt of
Yeah.
feeling like people don't understand what we're doing and kind of putting us in a box.
Yeah. Or aren't giving us the validity that we deserve.
Yeah. And
Right.
until we say a revenue number or something like that, it's just we wouldn't be taken as serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about this before as well, where you guys have found opportunity in places that you probably didn't realize, right? Tell me a bit about is it serendipitous, or do you think it's just like there are opportune times where things are meant to happen for a reason?
Yeah, I think all of those situations can be summed up with preparation meeting opportunity, right?
For sure.
What luck is. I think that
I love that.
Are
I love that.
over preparers to our core.
For sure.
That's probably why we get along.
Yeah.
And we also have made a habit of putting ourselves in situations where we think opportunity might come.
For sure.
And that's just become a muscle that we've exercised over the years of like, oh my goodness, I'd rather do anything except for go to this event, but let's go to the event.
Let's do it.
I don't want to talk to this person, but we should probably book a meeting with them. I don't want to whatever. And let's do it because these people will be there, or we might meet this person, or this thing might come out of it. And maybe it's in the long run and maybe it won't happen.
Right.
But we'll never know if we don't just put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
And over time, all of the prepping that we've done is just compounding into like, oh, we're not even lying about these things.
Yeah.
Like, when we're talking, we're like, oh, okay.
This is us.
Yeah, this is actually us. So I think that plays a huge part in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the Dragon's Den story. That's a good example of that.
Everything comes back to the University of Ottawa.
I know.
Everything.
We give them a lot of
Shout out to University of
Yeah,
Ottawa,
you
man.
deserve it.
I didn't go
Seriously.
Yeah.
But I love
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got some alum here in the building. There you go.
So we got invited to the Telfer dinner. Olivia and I got invited to that, and we didn't really look at anything about the page. It came from somebody that we like a
Yeah.
lot, and we were like, oh, gala, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know anything about Telfer. Olivia went there, so we're like, you know what, we should do it.
Sure.
So we go to this event, and when we got there, somebody from the team
Mm-hmm.
came up to us.
Colin.
Yeah, came up to us. He's like, "Would you like to meet Wes Hall?" And we're like, sure," because it turned out he was the speaker there of the event,
Okay, got it.
which we didn't know until we were on our way there. And I was like, "Oh, cool, Wes Hall's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Sweet." So when everybody was doing like the kind of welcome reception, he brought us to this other room where there was maybe like 25 or 30 people
Okay.
swarming this man. So
Like, we're not talking to him. This is over. I'm overwhelmed on his behalf.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah, it was like a private meet and greet kind of situation, but
Yeah.
he was like
Swarm.
surrounded by people.
Mm-hmm.
So Olivia and I were just hanging back, being casual, just chit-chatting about nothing. And this woman was standing beside us, and we were just talking to her about, I don't even know how the conversation started, but then she was like, "What do you guys do?" Whatever. We told her a little bit about what we did. She's like, "Wow, I love that. I used to live in LA, and I used to do a lot of gifting in LA, and it was so hard and blah, blah, blah." She just got it right away.
For
I
sure.
was like, "That is so cool." And then we're like, "What do you do?" She's like, "Oh, I'm Wes's personal assistant." We're like, "Oh, okay."
You're the person I need to know.
Yeah, she's like, "Wow, he should really meet you." I think
Oh
that
my
He
God.
would probably love your business. We're like, "Oh yeah, that would be so nice." But we're being casual, so don't even worry.
Sure. Yeah.
So the session ended. Like, people had to go back to the gala. So we go back.
Yeah.
And it was still a reception kind of.
We're like, I guess we
thing
missed our
happening.
chance.
Yeah, we're like, oh man, we missed it. So Olivia and I are just walking around the event space, and she taps us on the shoulder. She's like, "I'm gonna go get Wes." And then she came back 2 minutes later,
Pulling him.
She's like, "You need to meet these girls." And then we're like, "Oh, hi." He's like, "Hello." And he's like, "So tell me about yourself." And then we pitched.
And then he
No
started
way.
asking us all of our numbers.
It was a Dragon's Den episode.
It was a Dragon's Den interview live on the spot.
So it's Wes, your table,
No,
No, we're just standing.
just standing.
It was like a cocktail hour.
And
She
go.
grabbed his hand, dragged him over,
No.
pitched to me, met him, and I think we were like very casual, joking around with him. He asked us his intense questions. We
Yeah.
gave him the answers, and he's like, "I'm very impressed with you. You know your numbers on the spot. You two, again, coming back to
Love your
us
dynamic.
being, love your dynamic. Like, you guys are really memorable," and said a lot of really nice stuff. He said, "You should apply for Dragon's Den." We said,
No way.
"We don't want to apply for Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
We're gonna
No,
get ripped
thank you.
apart." And she said, "We'll only apply if you stand up for us when we're there."
No way.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay."
He said to his assistant, "Make sure you connect to them with the producers."
Okay.
And then he was like, "Good luck," kind of thing.
Okay.
And he did say that it had closed. He thought it had closed.
Yeah, he's like, "I think it's closing soon, so try to connect them with the producers, whatever."
Got it.
We ended up connecting with them and putting together what we thought was a pitch, despite us not wanting to do it.
Mhm.
We had the conversation, and then it was done casting like the next day, so we
Sure.
just didn't get it. We're like, "Okay, that's fine." Then a few months later, so this was maybe June-ish.
Yeah.
And then in October, he was doing a press run for his book
Yeah.
that was released.
Yep.
And which is so good. But he was at U Ottawa again. We got invited. We went. This is so embarrassing. So at the meet and greet, again, people are swarming him, whatever. We kind of stood around and then met him again. We're like, hey, he's like, I remember you girls. How's it going? How are things? And then we're like, actually, because you put this whole Dragon's Den thing in our head, we got on the topic of investment and we want to know more. Like, I'd love for you to tell us more and like help us. And he's like, okay, message me on Instagram and I will we'll connect. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he doesn't have his messages turned on to like receive them from random people.
God.
Obviously. So I'm sitting there like, okay, a little steamer. At the same time, I'm sitting front row at his book
Launch, yeah.
panel thing.
Yeah.
And to put into context, I am Black. I have a Black son. He was born in 2020. Very emotional time. Wes's book Wes speaks a lot about his experience as a Jamaican immigrant, grew up in the financial and legal sector, especially, and the systemic racism that he faced. Long story short, I was sobbing in the front row. Like sobbing, blubbering.
No, other people didn't know because we were front row. Only he knew because he was
He's looking right at you.
Like I was making eye contact with him and crying like a crazy person. Anyways, it was nuts. I was at one point I was like it was bad. It was
audible. Like people can hear
for
this.
sure. And also I raised my hand because my hack for attending anything is ask great questions.
Of course.
You're always going to be remembered if you ask a good question.
Right.
I thought I had it together for a question. No, I did not. Voice cracks immediately. Crying. Like, God. Anyways, so that was bad. But memorable. Okay. So Olivia and I left. We left the event and we were in the parking garage and we're like, okay, we need to get him to get his assistant to book a meeting with him somehow, whatever, while it's still fresh in his mind.
Of course.
He's probably on his way to the airport right now, has nothing else to do but look at his phone.
Yeah. You can probably guess his email.
We can probably guess his email. And then we did. So we guessed a couple different emails. So we tried the first one. It worked. So it happened to work. So we have this guest email and we're like, okay, what's going to be a subject line that is for sure going to make him open the email?
Oh, no.
It was... Nice seeing you again. Sorry for crying.
Oh my God.
And then
3 minutes later, we got a response.
Of course.
And then within like 3 weeks, we were in Toronto in his office.
No way. Guys, you guys completely bypassed Dragon's Den and we're like, crying in front of him is probably going to work somehow, but like not intentional. And they weren't. Like you got in his office.
We went to the meeting. He brought in his director of strategy, director of operations, and his assistant kept coming in to tell him like time's up, and he's like, I need more time. It was
supposed to be a 30-minute meeting. I think it was like over an hour. Which goes to show about the honesty and vulnerability piece. Like I personally cannot separate the two.
Of course, yeah.
I can't not cry.
Yeah.
But it works out in your favor because it makes you more memorable.
100%.
People that care, which generally are the people that I care to speak to.
Right.
Yeah. So we ended up having a really great meeting. Had subsequent meetings with people on his team about honestly just advice, connections with potential clients.
Yeah.
And he was a client at the time already by the time the meeting happened.
Right.
He didn't know he was a client.
No way. You know what I love about that story is that like you guys were just yourselves. You know? Like, and I think a lot of people get in their heads about like, I got to put on this image and I got to be like super professional and but at the end of the day, like people are going to connect with you, like, and the people that you're going to work with are people that you want to work with.
That's what we notice most about conferences. So, and I'll tie back to the original story you wanted me to mention, but when we started going to conferences, now that's our biggest piece of our biggest marketing channel is going to conferences, networking, meeting people, and getting deals from that.
Right.
Not even necessarily having booths, like literally just walking around and forming connections, asking the right questions, becoming friends with people. So when we first started going to conferences, we would split up and have a goal of talking to every single booth that was at this conference.
Unreal.
So we would be out of breath, running around. We would meet back up. We're like, hey, I did this, Al. You did this, Al. Like, I'll see you again in 10 minutes. Meet back up. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Then we started realizing, like 3 conferences in, that when we went to networking events, that's where we were meeting people and actually having the good conversations, because people liked getting to know us and they liked our dynamic.
Yeah.
And we could form more of a connection. So we said, why don't we try going to conferences? And when we go booth to booth, go together and like bring our dynamic to each conversation. And we'll have less conversations, but we'll have better quality conversations. And that's really what opened conferences as a marketing channel for us, because now we have people that are like very close friends of ours that we've just met at conferences that speak about us in rooms that we're not in and connect us with people that we need to meet, because they care about us and they care about supporting us as small businesses when they work for huge financial institutions or companies like Amazon. Like, these are people that want to see us succeed and they're bought in our story. And they wouldn't have been if we hadn't put kind of the care and attention into building that relationship.
Yeah. And yourselves out there, right? To be like, this is our dynamic. Like, this is what you're getting with working with us. Not someone who's just going to pick up the phone and say, okay, what do you need? What's the order? You know what I mean? I have so many more questions, but I gotta reel them in. But I have 2 ones I really want to ask you guys. The first is, when you guys were starting, how did you decide, okay, like, obviously we're going to be co-founders or we're going to work together. How did you decide what each of you were going to do? Like, did you play to each of your strengths? Did you have to decide, like, okay, you do this, I do that? What was that process like?
Olivia and I actually have pretty different skill sets and like career histories.
Yeah.
So we kind of fell into them naturally, and it's pretty much known from the beginning. Like, I would handle marketing stuff, you would handle operations. Yeah. And then the things that we both didn't know, we would both figure out together, or she would take one thing and I would take the other. We kind of divvied things up, but mostly just played into our strength.
Yeah, got it. Okay, cool.
And I think that honestly lent to the type of business that we started too. It was a business that we needed to be good at marketing and we needed to be good at operations. So I think that gave us probably a bit more confidence going into being able to build it.
For sure. And now that you're over 5 years in and you've built, a solid base of operations and a solid set of clients, if you were to tell yourself one piece of advice in 2019, 2020, when you were starting, what would that be?
I would say, in terms of the type of business to go into, and I say this to entrepreneurs that are starting out, is you will always have an easier time building a business that is a need to have, not a nice to have. Yeah. And that's what's been a little bit more of an uphill battle, is finding the clients that consider gifting a need to have, because they can't afford to lose their employees. They can't afford to lose their clients. But everyone feels that gifting is a need to have.
For sure.
So people that are able to solve a problem that is a very obvious need to have will always have an easier growth to success.
Yeah, makes sense.
So one of the things that I never thought about before starting the business, or until literally we hired our first employees, I had never thought about having employees at all. I had a million different side hustles and always been doing multiple things throughout my career. And it had just been me. And so just having a team, I just didn't think about it. But I think I would probably tell myself to be really intentional about team dynamics and leadership from the very beginning. Yeah. Because that's something that we really had to we kind of stumbled into and had to cultivate kind of reactively at first. So figuring that out, or being a little bit more thoughtful about that stuff earlier on.
Yeah. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on Behind the Biz. We could go on for hours, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Season three, for sure. Thank you again for being on. The best part about this is I get to actually have honest, open, fun conversations with people like you and alum, which is so great. Yeah. And reconnect with you guys. So thank you so much again. You are truly an inspiration, and hope you get to inspire more people in Ottawa and nationally and globally. So congrats on all you've accomplished.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
for everyone joining. My name is Faheem Sabja,
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Vanessa.
and hope to see you on the next episode of Behind the Business. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in on this episode of Behind the Business. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, share it with someone who's on their own entrepreneurial journey or thinking about starting one. Also, follow, subscribe, and leave a review whenever you listen. Lastly, keep up with us on Instagram at BehindTheBiz_POD. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep building, and keep listening. This is Faheem Sabja signing off from Behind the Business.